It is a beautiful evening here in late June on the north side of Chicago as the Cubs have returned home for their final homestand of the first half. First of 7. The Reds will come in on Thursday, but up first, it's the Pittsburgh Pirates in the first of a 3-game series. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Cubs Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet. I'm Len Casper. We'll hear from Bob Brenly in just a second, but we have an update on the Carlos Zambrano situation. He has been suspended since the meltdown in the dugout on Friday. Let's hear from General Manager Jim Hendry.
Just wanted to let you all know we do have a conclusion to the Carlos Zambrano situation from Friday. Carlos has been under suspension. He has been under suspension without pay. That suspension will end tomorrow, and Carlos will be effective tomorrow, put on the Major League restricted list. Beginning Wednesday, Carlos will undergo a treatment program with mutually agreed upon doctors from the Players Association and Major League Baseball. And that treatment will be, he will be, basically he will have to follow the treatment for his issues and be evaluated properly. And if the program is acted upon properly in accordance to what the doctors signify he needs to work on and improve on and follow their directives, Carlos would not be reinstated any time until after the All-Star break.
So that's Jim Hendry, Bob. The conclusion, I guess, will be when Z comes back. But there is a little closure here, and we can get back to talking baseball.
Well, hopefully we can get back to talking baseball. I mean, it's no secret for anybody that's watched the Cubs during Carlos Zambrano's time here. There are some issues there that need to be resolved. The Cubs have a lot of money invested in this guy, and it's not like you can just give him away or trade him away that easily. You have to prepare for him being a usable piece of this team, and I think this is a big step in the right direction.
All right, the pitchers tonight as we go to break. Paul Mahalem, a left-hander for the Pirates, 2-0 against the Cubs this season. Randy Wells for the Cubs tries to end a career-long 6-game losing streak, and the Cubs honoring Cubs legend Ron Santo tonight, his 50th anniversary of his Major League debut.
Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Member-owned means our reason for being is your well-being. Experience wellness everywhere. AT&T. Rethink possible. And by Southwest Airlines. Visit southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on.
Welcome back to Wrigley Field as Ron Santo honored for 50 great years. A couple of days ago represented the 50th anniversary of his Major League debut against the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1960. Got to throw out the ceremonial first pitch to Ryan Dempster. His sons Ron Jr. and Jeff in attendance today, and We will talk with Ron in the booth in the 4th inning. I think he's saying it was a long ride back up from the field, but we're so happy for Ron. Let's look in on the Pirates Southwest starting lineup. They are scuffling. They've lost 17 straight on the road. Our first look at a couple of their top prospects. Jose Tabata is in left tonight. Crosby, McCutchen, Jones, Lastings, Millage in right. Pedro Alvarez, another rookie we haven't seen yet. Domet, the former Cubs Cedeno, and the pitcher Mahalam rounding it out.
Take a look at the Cubs defensively tonight. Brought to you by Jimmy John. Soriano, Bird, and Colvin will man the outfield this evening. Ramirez and Castro on the left side of the infield. Terrio and Lee on the right side. Giovanni Soto behind the plate for right-hander Randy Wells. See the numbers for Wells this season. He started against the Pirates already a couple of times this season. One not too bad, one real bad.
So he faces Jose Tabata, who's playing left, and he takes a fastball at 91 for a strike. The Pirates come in with the worst record in the National League at 25-50. A line shot at Derek Lee, who makes a catch. 2 pitches and 1 out. However, the Pirates have gone 7-2 so far against the Cubs, so the Cubs owe them a little payback.
Now, this series could be coming at just the right time, Len. The Pirates have been pretty much in a down cycle all season, except when they play the Cubs. Cubs, on the other hand, even though they lost Saturday night, they played a very energetic, inspired ball game, came back yesterday and beat the White Sox to avoid the sweep in that series, and hopefully headed in the right direction.
Wells working quickly. 1 ball, 1 strike on Bobby Crosby, who's playing second base. He had been playing short quite a bit. But Neil Walker suffered a concussion in a collision on Friday night with Ryan Church, so he's day-to-day. You have to think he probably will end up on the disabled list. And has gotten Ronnie Cedeno back in the lineup at short. Ramirez fires across, but it's a foul ball. And a 2-2 count on Crosby. Let's check in on the umpires tonight. Dan Iasonia will call the balls and strikes. Dale Scott, the crew chief, at first. Jerry Meals and Mark Wegner.
I mentioned Wells' previous 2 starts against the Pirates, both at Pittsburgh. One was an 11-1 loss when he only went 2 innings, gave up 5 hits and 7 runs, walked 3 batters in that game. The next time out against the Pirates, much better. 5 innings of 3-hit shutout baseball.
Full count, 3-2. McCutchen on deck. And the pitch, low for ball 4. He walked him. Here's Andrew McCutchen. Well, you look up and down this lineup, and it's hard to find anyone in a good stretch. McCutchen 2 for 22. Ronnie Cedeno 6 for his last 55. Ryan Church not in the lineup, but he's 5 for his last 54. Lastings Millage, as we showed you, is hot. Leadoff man Tabata has hit in 5 straight, but that's about it. They are last in the majors in runs. Now, having said that, Andrew McCutchen has killed the Cubs this season. And look what he's done against Randy Wells.
Well, I'll tell you, perception in this game is everything. If you ask Cub fans, or if you ask us who have seen the Pirates play their best baseball against the Cubs, we would assume that their record is much better than it is. This is a very puzzling team, the Pittsburgh Pirates. Obviously in another rebuilding season. A lot of young players, a lot of their prospects here playing and learning at the major league level, and with that, you're going to see a lot of mistakes.
Well, look at this. Against the Cubs, they're 7-2. scoring 4.5 runs per game. Against everybody else, they're 30 under 500. And their starters giving up over 6 runs a game. 3-1 now on McCutchen. They have not won on the road in over a month. Strike 2, it's full. The last win on the road was in Cincinnati on May 25th. They've lost 17 straight since. And they're not just losing at home. They're 5-24 overall. Their last 29. Swing and a miss. Throw to second. Strike him out. Throw him out. Double play. Soto nails Crosby. And the inning is over. The Cubs are coming up against left-hander Paul Maholm when we come back. Hit performance on the south side. Their Southwest starting lineup. Terrio leads off. Colvin a career best 4 RBIs against the White Sox. Bird, Lee, Ramirez in the middle with Soriano hitting 6th. Soto, Castro, and Wells 7 through 9.
Quick look at the Pirates defensively, brought to you by Jimmy John's. Tabata, McCutchen, and Millage across the outfield. The #1 pick in the 08 draft. Pedro Alvarez at third base. Former Cub Ronnie Cedeno at short. Crosby at second. Jones over at first. Veteran Ryan Doan doing the catching for left-hander Paul Maholm.
He's already beaten the Cubs twice here in 2010. 6-1 lifetime with a high ERA that's over 6. But Bob, the Pirates usually win when he pitches against the Cubs. They're 9-2.
That's another go figure.
Yeah. The 1-1 to Terrio is hit in the air, foul off to the right.
You wouldn't consider any of Maholm's pitches plus pitches. He has an average fastball that he'll sink away from the righties, occasionally cut it in on their hands. There's a straight changeup and a curveball, an occasional slider to a left-handed hitter. Really needs to have good command to be effective.
And an opposite field base hit for Ryan Terrio.
That swing from Ryan Terrio when he's at his best, especially on high pitches. Tomahawk that ball to the opposite field. Start offensively for the Cubs here tonight. I don't know, Len. I say this every time we play the Pirates. You would expect the Cubs to be very aggressive on the bases. Ryan Doan behind the plate has thrown out only 4 of 48 base runners. That's 8% caught stealing rate.
Tyler Colvin takes a fastball outside. A good approach against left-hander John Banks yesterday. A big go-ahead 3-run homer. Added a couple of singles later on. As the Cubs won 8-6 to snap the White Sox 11-game winning streak. Cubs with an interesting note tonight. According to Elias, the Cubs beat the White Sox on June 13th. The Sox then rattled off 11 straight wins. Then the Cubs beat them to end the winning streak. One hopper handled by Crosby. Cedeno will throw. Save. Colvin beat it out. And was Ronnie Cedeno actually on second?
I think that's the old neighborhood play. Hard hit ball right at the second baseman Crosby. He gets it over to Cedeno in pretty good shape. He's nowhere near the bag. Oh, man.
You know, if you're behind the base and you kind of act like you're swiping it with your foot and you miss, that's one thing. But
come on,
that's nowhere close to an out. And the Cubs did not argue it. I don't know if Terrio just didn't see where Ronnie was, but Jerry Meals apparently was okay with it. One strike on Marlon Byrd.
Well, there's your human element in the game of baseball. How we liking that?
So anyway, the Sox 11-game winning streak, the longest in the majors, bookended by losses to the same team since 1948. How about that? Alvarez spins and throws and gets Marlon Byrd, with Colvin now at second and 2 outs. I guess if it were not for the Cubs, the White Sox might have a 20-game winning streak. Who knows?
Pretty nice play by the youngster Alvarez down there at third base. Smothers that ball, realizes he doesn't have a chance to get the lead runner at second, so just tosses on to Jones for the out on Marlon Byrd.
Now Derek Lee with a man at second base. 2 outs here in the first inning. Just underway from Wrigley on a very comfortable night. A lot of cloud cover, but no imminent threat of rain.
This is just the way Ron Santo ordered it up for tonight. 76 degrees, wind out of the north at 6 miles per hour. Very pleasant. The wind out of the north blowing pretty much straight in from left field, although if you judge from batting practice, it's a very thin wind tonight. Boy, guys, we're leaving this ballpark from foul line to foul line. Both teams putting on a show.
Big leg kick, 1-1 pitch. And Bob, the first thing I noticed when I walked into the ballpark today, all the pennants from foul pole to foul pole on the roof over the grandstand, they all say Santo 50, and the team signed one of those pennants and they presented it to Ron. And those, I think, will be up for the rest of the homestand, which is pretty neat. Swing and a miss. Derek strikes out. And the Cubs strand Colvin at second. 0-0. Pirates and the Cubs from Cubs.com. Call 1-800-THE-CUBS or visit the Wrigley Field box office. One additional note to Carlos Zambrano being transferred from the suspended list to the restricted list, which will happen tomorrow, is that will create a roster spot for the return of Jeff Stevens, who was sent out because of a depleted bullpen over the weekend against the White Sox. So we expect to see Jeff back here at Wrigley Field tomorrow. 1-1 on Garrett Jones. The Pirates have had to make the following changes to accommodate the addition of Jose Tabata and Pedro Alvarez. Lastings Millage was playing left. He now goes to right with Tabata in left. Jones was playing a lot of right. He goes to first. And Andy LaRoche becomes a bench player with Alvarez going to third. So, Bob, this team has made a few changes. Brad Lincoln, their top pitching prospect, will pitch on Wednesday afternoon. He's also with the big league club.
Yeah, when the music stops, grab a seat in the dugout. The last guy on the seat, you don't get to play. I mean, this is kind of what everybody expected from the Pirates as they continue to struggle in the early part of the season. They had some prospects down at the minor league level that maybe not quite ready for the major leagues, but no reason not to bring them up and give them a taste of big league baseball with the way the season has gone for the Pirates this year.
They are staring at what will be their 18th consecutive losing season, an all-time record. That'll go 3-1 to get Jones. Also check out what's going on around baseball. Josh Hamilton, also Jose Guillen of the Royals with 21 game hitting streaks, longest in the majors. The Rangers have rattled off 13 out of 14. Jamie Moyer, 40th pitcher to get to 4,000 career innings. Also now the all-time leader in home runs allowed. Dustin Pedroia is going to be out a while with a broken foot. I saw Victor Martinez also got hurt. So the Red Sox dealing with a lot of injuries. Steven Strasburg pitching tonight for the Nationals in Atlanta, and Jose Jimenez, or Ubaldo Jimenez rather, looks for his 14th win later on for the Rockies, who are at San Diego.
Another little major league note I noticed on the stat sheet today, and it jumped up at me. The Arizona Diamondbacks as a team have struck out 703 times already this year. That's a 103 strikeout lead over the second place team, the Florida Marlins. Mark Reynolds with 107 leads the National League. That one fouled down the right field line. Looks like it's going to reach the stands. Justin Upson with 97 is second in the National League, and Adam LaRoche with 77 ranks 8th in the National League in strikeouts.
So you have the batters striking out, and you have their starting pitchers walking guys. The Diamondbacks starters 3 times in a stretch of 4 games set a new franchise mark for walks. Dontrelle Willis was 7 on Wednesday. Edwin Jackson, his no-hitter, he walked 8. And Ian Kennedy on Saturday walked 9. Ouch. Do I hear 10? No, Rodrigo Lopez only walked 5 on Sunday.
Well, in maintaining the theme of beating up on the Diamondbacks, their pitching staff has also surrendered 103 home runs. That's a 21 homer lead over this very Pittsburgh Pirates team for the most in the National League.
3-2 on Millage.
I'm not great at math, but I think if you add all that up, it would say, boy, are they having a tough year.
And you would be right. Victor Martinez with a broken left thumb.
If I read the story right, he got hit by foul tips twice in 1 inning in the same area.
All 4, so Wells has worked a bunch of full counts and twice has missed on a 3-2. We should also point out there was another dugout altercation this weekend. It was between Evan Longoria and B.J. Upton, who clearly did not bust it going after what ended up being a triple. into the left center field gap. Upton was playing center, and Evan Longoria got in his face after that inning. Teammates got in and separated them. They seem to feel like it's over. But you can't do it in the dugout anymore. There will be 5 or 6 cameras watching. The Cubs have found that out the hard way the last few years. Pedro Alvarez, line shot, and it bounced into the glove of Tyler Colvin. So the struggling Alvarez with a base hit. That's the Pirates' first hit. They have 2 on.
Well, Alvarez may be struggling in his early major league career, but the Pirates really expect him to be a top shelf offensive player. All the numbers throughout his high school, college career would indicate such. He was a .288 hitter in 2 minor league seasons before this year with 27 homers and 32 runs driven in. They think he's going to be a good one.
Switch hitting Ryan Doumit. He bounces it foul. The Pirates coming from Oakland, where they got swept over the weekend. 3-2 loss yesterday. Pirates made a lot of mistakes, and this kind of sums up how it's gone for them. Alvarez was hit by Jose Tabata ground ball in the 9th. That's how the game ended.
Oh.
And if you're a base runner and you get hit like this, you're out. The batter gets a hit, but that was the 27th out. Down 1.
And 2 errors on 1 play. An attempted pickoff at first that got away for 1 error. Ball was picked up as the runner tried to go first to third. They overthrew it at third base for the 2nd error on the same play. I think they made 4 errors, only gave up 3 base hits. Still lost the ball game.
Two strikes on Ryan Doumit with Ronnie Cedeno on deck. Here's a pitch, just about hit him. 1-2. Been a rough go for Randy Wells in his sophomore campaign. Without a win over his last 10 starts. He has not won since April 30th. Ready for a 2-2. Doumit pulls that one foul. And if you're in that Pirate dugout and this is bad, you better watch out. Really the greatest invention here at Wrigley Field, those fences in front of each dugout.
Yeah, stay low. If you're in that visiting dugout with a left-handed pull hitter up there, you see Gary Varsho on your left. He's been in a number of games in this ballpark. He knows where to hide.
A pop fly out into shallow left. It'll be the shortstop Castro with 2 hands on it. And 2 outs. We should point out after the last week of games in American League parks, you can kind of attack these lineups a little differently now with the pitcher hitting 9th.
It really changes everything. It changes what you have to do as a manager with your own pitcher as well. And that number 9 spot's going to roll around every 2, 3, maybe 4 innings, and you're going to have to make a decision whether to leave that starter in or not, depending on the game conditions. You never have to worry about that in the American League parks. As long as he's pitching effectively and you feel he still has gas left in the tank, you keep running him out there.
Fastball strike to Cedeno, who had found himself on the bench a lot lately. He's making his 3rd consecutive start. I think you see why.
as you might expect from a young ball club. This Pirates team, they don't like to walk very much. Only the Houston Astros have walked fewer times this year than the Pirates. They're up there hacking.
High heater to make it 1-2. Bouncer, diving stop, Ramirez, and the throw to second. Nice stretch by Ryan Theriot, basically playing first base at second. They only needed to get that one out. They did, and the inning is. Ninth inning grand slam off Yankee reliever Cecilio Guante as the Tigers won 7-6. Tram was an all-star and won a Silver Slugger Award in 1988 as Aramis Ramirez against his former team with a leadoff single here in the second. Tram hit .311 that year. Brings up Alfonso Soriano.
Cecilio Guante probably tried to sneak a sinker inside on Alan Trammell. You just don't do that. Tram was really quick inside.
That's a strike. Didn't appear to be framed particularly well.
I tell you what, I talk about this, like I said, every series we play the Pirates. God bless Ryan Doman. He wants to be a catcher in the worst way. He loves playing the position. He's a good offensive player. He's real rough around the edges behind the plate.
4 career homers for Soriano in limited at bats. High fly, and McCutchen's going to have room in right center. And 4 homers and now 25 at bats. And Soriano just missed one. And here comes Giovanni Soto, kind of lost in the shuffle yesterday. He had 3 hits. As the Cubs beat the Sox. Paul Maholm turned 28 3 days ago. And Soto pops it up. Wynn's going to push this one toward the line. Long run. It drops. And a collision out there in right. And it looks like Crosby took the worst of it. Throw to third is behind Ramirez. Crosby's still down. Now he's up. He might have taken it in the noggin as he and Millage collided. They just had one of these in Oakland on Friday. I mentioned Ryan Church and Neil Walker. That'll be a double for Soto. Let's see where he got hit. Oh
man, took that right shoulder right on the side of the face. Both players giving a great effort trying to get to that ball. The wind pushing it closer and closer to that foul line. Oh man, watch him out. Oh.
It might end up being a neck problem as much as anything else. They're basically playing a man short because Neil Walker has a concussion. Well, let's go back 3 days. Pretty similar play.
And anybody that's been watching our telecast as the Cubs play the Pirates this year, they love to bunch their outfielders. Their right and left fielder, they push them toward the gaps. Their research has indicated that more balls go between the outfielders than down the foul line, so they tend to play their corner outfielders closer to the gaps, and on those balls hit down the line like we saw tonight in the replay we showed you from the other day, those outfielders have a long way to go to get there, and the infielders know that. That's why you saw Crosby go so far out into right field trying to make the play on Soto's pop-up.
Would it surprise you if Crosby goes an inning or two and then comes out as that stiffens up?
Oh yeah, I mean that's going to only get worse as the night goes on. I'm surprised he maintained consciousness out there. He took a heck of a hit from Lasting's Millage coming in hard from right field.
So we continue on, and the Pirates will play their middle infielders back. Really, the only guy who has a good play at the plate would be the first baseman, Jones. Alvarez maybe in a couple of steps at third. 1-0 on Starlin Castro. Key batter in this inning because the pitcher Randy Wells is on deck. That caught the outside edge. 1-1. 2 hits, 2 runs for Starlin yesterday. Now 2 balls and a strike.
Mahalam attacking Castro the way most National League teams have after his first go-round, when everybody got a good look at him. Working him away, fastballs away, off-speed pitches away. They show him inside off the plate, not in the strike zone, and then go right back away again.
Bounce to third. Alvarez is going to throw to the plate, and it gets away from Domet. Castro trying to get to second. He will get there. Not sure Alvarez really had a play on Ramirez. Remember, it was a tag play, not a force play. I thought he was just going to throw to first, and I think Ronnie Cedeno might be telling him that right now.
Now, we've talked about this with the Cubs earlier this season. If you position yourselves back, you're basically conceding that run. He changes his mind. He thought he had a shot at Ramirez. A good throw probably gets Ramirez at home plate. But if you're going to play back, the bench wants you to get an out in that situation. So take the sure out at first base. You're basically crossing up your own defense there by playing back and then still trying to cut off the run at home plate. If the Pirates wanted to cut off the run at home, they'd have played in.
So fielder's choice for Castro, who does get an RBI and an error on Alvarez, allowing the run to score. Oh, 1 to Wells. Everybody in this time, and the runners will have to stay.
third annual Road to Wrigley, presented by PNC Bank, returns to Wrigley Field on Wednesday, July 7th with $2 parking and tickets starting at just $5. Fans can get a major league feel for minor league prices. Don't miss the excitement with the famous chicken and fun prizes throughout the game. Order your tickets today at Cubs.com.
As we mentioned, the Pirates have had somewhat of a revolving door. You look at the different positions on the field, but last year they were a tremendous defensive club. But they have struggled at times this year. We mentioned 4 errors yesterday and a big one here early tonight.
I was kind of surprised to look at the National League team stats today, and the Pirates are dead last in double plays turned in the National League. For so many years with Jack Wilson and Freddie Sanchez, they were among the league leaders. And I think part of it is due to that revolving door you talked about at the middle infield positions.
Taking nothing away from their current staff. But they also had Perry Hill last year, widely considered to be one of the elite infield instructors. He is no longer with the Pirates, but I think it's more about personnel than anything else. Two and one to Terrio, with runners still at second and third, a run in. Late swing by Ryan as he bounced it foul. The last Pirates starter to win on the road, you have to go back to Zach Duke, who's currently on the DL, May 18th against Roy Halladay in Philadelphia. Duke with a strained left elbow. A pop-up. And it's the right fielder Millage to make the catch. So the Cubs get one and grab an early lead as we head to the third. Access with in-depth stories, insider blogs, and exclusive video. Visit csnchicago.com, your internet home for everything Cubs. The run was earned as Ramirez scored on the fielder's choice. The error simply allowed Soto and Castro to advance an extra base. So the Cubs lead 1-0. One strike on pitcher Paul Maholm, who is 0 for 27 on the season. But he does have an .036 on base percentage. He's got that going for him. So if he goes up there 36 or out of 1,000 times, he would get on base 36, according to his current on base average. And he's going to head back to the dugout, kind of like winning the lottery.
Well, some pitchers figure that's not what they pay me for. You would think just by accident some of those ground balls would get through the infield. Maybe a blooper would drop in now and again.
Well, part of the problem is, Bob, 28 at bats now, 18 strikeouts, so he hasn't hit a lot of ground balls. 1-0 on Tabata. Now 2-0. He came over from the Yankees in the Xavier Nady deal on July 26th of 2008. Tabata, along with pitchers Ross Ollendorf, Jeff Karstens, and Daniel McCutchen, in exchange for Nady and left-hander Damaso Marte. A 4-pitch walk. Now we'll see how Crosby responds after the nasty collision with Millage. Italian getting cocked in the head and somehow Bing Crosby, but I can't quite hone in on it.
Let the game come to you, partner.
Ding Crosby, I don't know, you know. One ball, no strikes.
Percussion is better than concussion. I know that.
Runner goes. Called strike. The throw right there, but Tabata beat it. He's 5 for 5 on the year.
Tabata not really a big-time stolen base guy at the minor league level, but got a good jump that time on Randy Wells. Even with the good throw by Soto right on the money, Tabata slides in safely. And look at Starlin Castro hooking his left foot on that bag at second just to make sure he knew exactly where he was. He's had some issues coming off that bag on stolen base attempts.
Broken bat ground ball to Terrio, who will get the out at first. So Tabata advancing farther than any Pirate runner to date. But there are 2 outs.
I mean, this is what I think the Cubs really need to avoid against the Pirates. Even though there's 2 outs in the inning, you don't like to see runners in scoring position for McCutchen and Jones. Those have been the 2 guys that have really done damage against the Cubs this year.
Whoa. Wells with a 1-0. Right down the middle on a slider. And he went. Big numbers for McCutchen. against the Cubs this year. A 1-2 on the way is too low. Randy Wells listed at 6'5", 230, 27 years old, from Belleville, Illinois. And a line shot. Tyler Coleman misplayed it over his head as that was crushed by McCutchen. He's thinking 3. Loses his helmet around second. Terrio actually dropped the ball, and thankfully McCutchen slid into third, or he may have tried to score. As it is, it's 1-1.
That ball really surprised Tyler Colvin out there in right field. When McCutchen got down and threw the ball, had a lot of backspin on that line drive. Colvin was expecting it to sink. It actually sailed right over his head, and with McCutchen's speed, that's an easy triple. Here you see the relay throw was dropped by Ryan Terrio right there. I don't believe they would have had a play at third base on McCutchen, but you're absolutely right. If he went into the bag standing at third, he may have thought about coming on the last 90 feet to home.
Well, the triple is one thing, but I think Randy Wells and Larry Rothschild, in between starts, they're going to go back to that walk to Tabata. He has now walked 3 in the first 3 innings. As you said, this is not a club that really wants to walk a whole lot.
And I wonder, not that you ever walk anybody intentionally, but Randy Wells had the reputation of being a strike thrower. And opposing teams were being extremely aggressive against him this season, swinging a lot of first and second pitches, a lot of early count base hits, and maybe he's started to work outside of the strike zone from time to time to try to counteract that strategy by opposing hitters.
Now this one I can see working around a Garrett Jones, who's done all this damage against the Cubs, although Lasting's Millage, one of the hottest hitters in the league, and he's been deadly with men in scoring position this season. Full count, 3-2. Dorothy's all right. Hope everybody else is okay. That ball was smoked. Well, we think Dorothy might have gotten hit by that foul ball. I hope she's all right. That one came back up and hit Garrett Jones.
That's the size helmet you get your ice cream in, isn't it, partner?
It is.
Yeah, the XL.
She's a tough cookie. He said, I'm scoring the game. I'm staying right here.
I'll tell you what, Garrett Jones is going to hear about that the rest of the evening. As Dorothy sits right behind the stairs over there on that first base side, and those players hear everything she says when they go in and out of that first base dugout. I know that from experience.
It's clubbed into the corner, foul. Boy, heads up down that right field line. Garrett Jones keeps turning on pitches and hitting them with a lot of anger. Well, that happens, Bob, as a catcher and as a pitcher. What does that tell you? What do you try to do?
Well, usually if you see a guy pulling everything you throw up there, you try to go after him with off-speed pitches, off the plate away, assuming he's going to be way out in front of those pitches. Change-ups, backdoor sliders.
Change up that time, and it's line. Bird makes a catch. That's his forte. Diving grab heading in toward home plate to keep this game tied. Marlin will hit second in the bottom of the third.
At the plate, he hit a ground ball to Crosby at second base. I think there might have been a little brain freeze on the part of second base umpire Jerry Meals, who called Theriot out at second base and not even in the neighborhood. Brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Colvin, Bird, and Lee against Paul Mahalem in a 1-1 tie. Tyler swings and misses at a breaking ball. Not a big surprise. Bobby Crosby did take one at bat after the collision in the outfield. Grounded out to second, and he has been taken out of the game, replaced by Delwyn Young, and we certainly hope Bobby is okay. Bouncing ball up the middle, handled by Cedeno. Still in the dugout. I guess that's a good sign. I will not take credit, nor will I take the blame for this one, but this comes from our production truck. Crosby stills. He was knocked down in the collision, gnashing his teeth as he's now replaced by Young.
Oh, brother.
As they take corniness to a whole different level. I like it.
Didn't Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young have an album called So Far? Well, you went a far piece to make that one work.
1-0 on Marlon Byrd, who saved a run with a diving catch. And he hits a little pop-up. Garrett Jones will glove it for the out. Watch the Cubs host the Reds this Friday here at Wrigley Field. Game time 1:20, but be sure to arrive early. The first 4,000 girls 14 and younger will receive a limited edition Cubs American Girl doll size jersey and pants. Compliments of Pepsi and Arby's. The first place Cincinnati Reds. Well, the wind has really picked up, and it's now blowing in from center, really from left center straight in. It's not a thin breeze, as you talked about the batting practice wind.
Not anymore. It's like somebody turned a fan on all of a sudden.
Got the breaking ball strike on the outside corner. It's 1-2 on Derek Lee. Paul Mahalem is from Mississippi. Born in Greenwood, attended Mississippi State. Ever spent any time in Mississippi? You can do a lot of fishing there.
Oh, yeah.
Have relatives in Meridian.
Spent a little time in Jackson, Mississippi. I used to be a member of the Texas League when I played in Shreveport, Louisiana. You know how they tell you always see and hear crazy things at minor league ballparks? In Jackson, Mississippi one night, they made an announcement toward the end of a ball game to be careful going to your cars after the game. A leopard has escaped from the Jackson Zoo.
Okay.
And reportedly was roaming around in the woods behind the left field fence.
Hit hard, and Alvarez can't handle it. That'll be a base hit for Derek. Ball was scalded. He's 1 for 2.
Slider working its way down and in. I'll tell you what, Derek Lee may have had his struggles from time to time this year, but he can handle that ball down and in with anybody. That slider was right in his wheelhouse and spanked it past Alvarez at third base. Time to start searching for paperweights, partner.
It's really blowing hard. 1 ball, no strikes to Aramis. Started with a north wind, now it's northeast. which means straight in from center. 2-0. Well, you can talk mechanics all you want, and I'm sure Rudy Jaramillo has with Aramis Ramirez, but I think the one thing that's changed since he's come back is pitch selection. And I'm sure they've discussed that too. As I say that, he pops up a 2-0 pitch.
Get a win.
And Garrett Jones able to make the catch for the out. We'll head off to the fourth on a windy but warm night here at Wrigley. 1-1. Meal from Taco Bell, open 1 a.m. or later. Thanks as always to the great Menards grounds crew as they manicure the infield dirt between innings. A breezy late June night. As the Cubs begin a 7-game homestand, they'll hit the road out west, Arizona and the Dodgers, and then the All-Star break. Can't believe how fast it's gone. 1 strike to Lasting's Millage. The word on Bobby Crosby, concussion-like symptoms. So, Bob, that's 2 middle infielders, one who has a concussion, another showing symptoms of that. They may have to make a couple of roster moves. You can't play with 23.
No. Might be worth an investment to buy some cowbells and hang them around the necks of their corner outfielders just so those middle infielders know when they're getting close.
Called strike 3. Millage knew it, and he is retired on strikes. Time for AT&T Trivia. It's all about Cubs legend Ron Santo tonight. In what offensive category did Ron Santo lead both leagues in 1964? We will have Ron in the booth with us in the bottom of the inning. I think we'll ask him before we answer that question, see if he knows. You and I took about 8 guesses and could not get it. Two 2-0 the count on Pedro Alvarez, who singled in his first at bat. Big rip. 2-1.
You know, Len, as we get closer and closer to the July 31st trade deadline, we're seeing more and more scouts at every ball game. There's always advanced scouts in the game, and I would assume that the Reds have an advanced scout here tonight, as well as the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers, the two teams that the Cubs will play next week. But a number of what they call professional scouts, guys who evaluate the talent on a given ball club, not necessarily to prepare for the next series, but just to evaluate, is this a guy we want to acquire? And it's not always the frontline players that they're looking at. It's the guys that you see as a player to be named later, perhaps in a deal. And a lot of scouts here tonight.
One out walk to Alvarez, so Wells has continued the trend of a walk per inning. And he faces Ryan Doman. Like Carlos Marmol, Randy Wells is a converted catcher. That's a strike. He said part of his failure as a position player was trying to make that difficult transition from an aluminum to a wooden bat. He went to Southwestern Illinois College. And Randy comes from a very athletic family. His dad played baseball and football at Kansas State. One of his brothers was a collegiate athlete. And Randy much younger than his brothers, which made him a little tougher growing up.
Now that adjustment from aluminum to wood has gotten a lot of guys coming out of the college ranks, swinging that pipe. All of a sudden, those base hits that used to float over the infielder's head when you got jammed, well, the bat's flying into pieces and the ball's dribbling back to the pitcher's mouth.
Well, the other problem for Randy, he didn't play a whole lot. He was like the third string catcher. He only played like once a week. Kind of hard to get any better when you never played.
I think probably the wood bat adjustment is the #1 adjustment for guys coming out of high school and college, and probably the second biggest adjustment is the speed of the game. Everything's just a little quicker when you get into professional baseball, and the higher you move up the ranks, the quicker the game gets. Doma chasing a shoulder high fastball right there for strike 3. I mentioned this Pirates team is hungry to hit. They don't like to take a base on balls. They want to hit their way on.
Two outs at Cedeno. Some flashes from Ronnie. Probably his best year was 2008 with the Cubs. 99 games, hit .269. But a career .238 hitter, his on-base percentage .278, which is way below average. Defensively can make the flashy play, but pretty inconsistent.
And in his time here in Chicago, and it has continued in Pittsburgh as well, he makes his share of mental mistakes on the field as well. He has some obvious physical gifts, but occasionally tries to do a little bit too much or forgets game situations and runs into outs that he shouldn't.
He admitted in spring training that he occasionally has taken his offensive problems out to shortstop, which happens more often than you'd think. And he waves at a pitch off the plate as Wells gets out of the inning. 3 strikeouts and a walk, so they did not put a ball in play. Ron Santo coming up. The Cubs coming back on offense. offensive category did Ron Santo lead the majors in 1964? Do you remember?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Triples, which nobody
Triples. 13 of them in 1964.
Yes. And I didn't know that until I was out of the game. I am not lying.
Here are your numbers in 1964.
Can you imagine having 13 triples? Me?
What a year. Slugged .564. You're on base just around 400.
Yeah.
What a year. Now, your major league debut, and congratulations on the 50th anniversary, which you celebrated a couple of days ago against the Pirates, but a very different Pirate ball club in 1960.
You say that again. World Series.
Era Jones knocks it down, and he'll take it by himself to beat Soriano to the bag. But you had a huge doubleheader in your debut.
Yeah, it really something. Bob Friend, Vernon Law, and I faced Bob Friend in the first game, and I think I was 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs, and then I faced Friend, and I was 1 for 3 with 2 more RBIs.
It's a pretty good debut.
It was a very
20 years old, right?
20 years old, 40,000 in the stands.
Wow.
Old Forest Field.
So more so than anybody else, you probably understand what Starlin Castro has gone through
absolutely,
here.
absolutely. And when I got to Wrigley Field, which was, this was on a Sunday, I was there, June 26th, and then we came right to Wrigley Field, had a day off on Mondays, and then Tuesday I played the first game here. But when I walked from the clubhouse, our clubhouse was way down in the left field corner, and I walked out with Ernie Banks, and I thought I was walking on air. I mean, it was, and nobody in the stands, but it just the feeling, it was great.
There's no place like Wrigley. Got a nice night.
Yeah, beautiful night.
Mention the flags all around the ballpark. Santo 50, and you got an autographed version from the entire team.
That was very nice. Very, very nice. It was very nice what the Cub organization did.
Ronnie, we've had way too many fast innings on offense and too quick outs.
It's bothered me. I thought tonight, hey, we're going to score right away. I can't remember the last time we won the first game of a series. And it's just, I'm just hoping that we can start swinging the bat. I know Ramirez is swinging the bat much better, and Derek Lee even seems to be. So that's going to really help the rest of the guys. But
we missed you in Seattle last week, and wonderful hometown. It was my first trip there, and just a great city. But everybody was asking about you, and they should be very proud of Ron Santo. Let's put it that way.
Well, I appreciate that. It's a town, that. Of course, I grew up in, and you saw the best part. Don't get me wrong; it's a beautiful city, and I loved it. And when you're young, you don't think about it. But when you wake up in the morning and it's 8 o'clock, in the winter, it's 8 o'clock all day.
A little dreary without the sun for a few months.
Of drizzle. As I said, I played. I was a very good mudder. Played a lot of baseball in the mud. So that's what it was like, but it is a wonderful city.
2-1, 2-2 rather on Starlin Castro. 1-1. We're in the 4th inning. We had a shot of the banner, Laura Ricketts down in the field. Your sons Jeff and Ron Jr. here. Just a neat pregame ceremony. Got a great hand from the fans here, and you are the #1 Cubs fan. Let's be honest.
Gosh. Well, it's just this year has been. No, I don't think anybody expected. Did you?
No.
Did you expect this kind of year? I felt strongly that our hitting would be there, and I felt that our starting pitching would be there. It was when we lost Guzman last year, I was concerned about this setup situation.
Got to get the offense going. I think pitching's been okay, but got to score runs. You know that, and I know you talk to Lou about it every day. We need your bat in the
Welcome back to the Subway fifth inning. Text footlong to 53695. If you're the 500th texter, you could win $5 footlong subs from Subway. Lineup rolling over exactly as Randy Wells had hoped, with Paul Maholm leading off here in the top half of the fifth inning.
Has played with fire a little bit tonight with the 4 walks. Came back to bite him in the third inning as the Pirates scored the tying run. Two and one on Maholm. Thanks to Ron Santo for stopping by. Soriano in, and he trapped it. And that's the first hit of the year for Paul Maholm. First hit since August 19th of last year. Soriano's all right, but you worry about a guy's wrist on that type of play as it gets under.
Yeah. Ooh. Wrist and then shoulder later as he tried to cushion that ball and keep it in his glove and hopefully buy a call from the umpires. Clearly trapped it. And the bigger issue is he going to be okay? Good effort by Soriano. That left foot slipped a little bit right at the end. Maybe a little whiplash too as he hit the ground out there. I got to tell you, Len, I've been as critical as Alfonso Soriano as anybody, and especially his defense in left field. But since that incident in New York City when Lou Piniella got on him at Citi Field about not running out a ball to the gap in right center field and asked him to eliminate the hop in left field, he's done a heck of a job. He's made some nice defensive plays. He's gotten to every ball I feel he should have. He's hustled on the bases. He's playing some outstanding baseball lately.
Yeah, I would agree. The effort is there, and I also, Bob, like the leadership. Last year, when the Milton Bradley incident happened, and then this year the Zambrano incident, I think Alfonso has been a bit of a team spokesman and has not been afraid to criticize a teammate if he deems it necessary. 2 strikes on Tabata, who walked in, scored in the third, stole a base as well. And Alfonso still shaking that left wrist in between pitches. Fly ball hit pretty well. Bird is going to get to the spot, and Maholm has to retreat.
You know, watching Alfonso Soriano shaking out that left wrist as Marlon Byrd made a great running catch in the gap in right center. That's the kind of injury that we're talking about. The other day when you were asking about a base runner holding his gloves in his hands, why do base runners do that? Well, it's the same injury that possibly we saw Alfonso Soriano suffer trying to make that diving catch. You hyperextend the wrist as you come down and make contact with the ground. Some base runners do the same thing when they slide into second base.
There's Delwyn Young, low batting average, but he's hit home runs off the following pitchers: Roy Halladay, Giants closer Brian Wilson, and Steven Strasburg. So all the homers have come left-handed against right-handed pitchers. Speaking of Strasburg, the Braves just got 2 against him in the bottom of the 7th. And lead 2-0 over the Nationals. Washington has lost 4 straight, including a sweep against the Orioles. High chopper, and Derek able to get it. The throw to first in time to get Delwyn Young. Carlos Garcia didn't like the call. Dale Scott right on top of it. No argument from Young. 2 outs.
Derek Lee plays that on a tough hop with a dive. Gets the ball quickly to Randy Wells, who continued over to cover the bag at first. A lot of times a pitcher will stop on that play. From our high-speed shutter cam, yeah, by the closest of margins, they did get Delwyn Young at first base.
Derek back at first base after being the DH the previous 2 games. Been bothered by some back stiffness. Hey, it's starting to cool off with that brisk wind. We started out at a very comfortable 76 degrees. It's still comfortable, but as you said, it feels like someone cranked up the air conditioning.
And one thing we know for sure about our booth, we don't have air conditioning.
No, it feels good. Most guys in the Pirates lineup would easily score on a base hit in this spot with 2 outs. But remember, it's the pitcher Mahalam at second base. So the Cubs outfielders may have a shot to cut down this run. Swing and a miss, not an issue as McCutchen strikes out. Leadoff single by the pitcher, but he's stranded at second. Halfway home on a Randy Wells nearing 100 pitches because a lot of walks and also a lot of strikeouts. That's going to happen with deep counts.
Yeah, he's had a lot of deep counts in this ball game, and as I mentioned earlier in the game, we don't know whether it's by design. You know, Randy's has a reputation of being a guy that throws a lot of strikes. Teams swing very aggressively early in the count. Maybe he's trying to counteract that by leading him out of the strike zone early, but for whatever reason, he's racked up a big pitch count early.
We may see Carlos Marmol at some point tonight. I think that would be a good thing, especially in a safe spot with the Cubs leading, but he had a rough ninth. in a non-save situation yesterday against the White Sox. 3 runs. And the winning run actually came to the plate. That's bounced over the pitcher, but you had Randy Wells running, and Delwyn Young throws him out in plenty of time. Jonathan Broxton blew a big lead in the ninth. The Dodgers lost in extras to the Yankees last night. So it happens. This Sunday, July 4th, the Cubs host the Reds here at Wrigley Field. Game time 1:20, but be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 fans get a Cubs 4th of July hat. Compliments of Ballpark Franks. Cincinnati all over the Phillies tonight. 7-1 in the 8th. As Terrio is now 2 for 3. And everything he has hit has been to right. 2 singles and a fly ball.
Well, I take that as a great sign, Len. That's where his strength is, driving that ball to the opposite field. He got a little pull happy last season at times, and earlier this season at times, trying to lift the ball in the air to left field, which is going to result in a lot of F7s and F8s. He's much more effective, especially in that leadoff spot when he's driving that ball to right field.
Swing and a miss.
That internet dating is a wonderful thing.
Holland steps off. Terrio faked towards second and put on the brakes as Colvin swung and missed. 0-2.
I gave you the numbers for Domet behind the plate earlier in the game. Only 4 out of 48 on the season catching attempted base stealers. And we're told a lot of the blame has to go to the Pirates pitching staff. Anytime you throw out 8% of the runners on the year, it's even gone more than what I anticipated there. Some of the blame has to go to the pitching staff. You've got to hold runners a little better than that and give your catcher an opportunity.
He's still howling in from center. A 1-2 count on Colvin. Long look by Mahalam. Now the pitch. Struck well. Millage will get there. Cuts off the gap. Throw back to first is late. 2 down. One of those swings we talked about yesterday. The hitting coach will love it. I tell Tyler, you do that 10 more times, you're going to get 7 or 8 hits.
Yeah, off the bat, it looked like he was going to get a hit on that one, but Millage closed ground quickly out there in right field, and with that wind howling in from center now, it may have held that ball up just long enough for Millage to get there and make the play.
Either Terrio is faking towards second, or he's just not getting a good read on Paul Mahalam. Twice he looked like he wanted to go and then stopped after about a step and a half.
One thing you can do as a potential base stealer, and Ryan Terrio is a potential base stealer, is take your normal lead and then take another step. Get out into no man's land and force that left-handed pitcher to throw over to first base so you can get a good look at his move. And when there's indecision, when you're not sure about his move, you don't know.
He ran on a breaking ball. It's a perfect pitch to run a 73-mile-an-hour curveball, and that gave Domet no chance.
No. Terrio starts with a good lead. He gets a good jump on first movement. It's a slow pitch to home plate. It didn't matter if Doma threw that ball right on top of the bag at second. Terrio was going to steal that one.
Boy, Ryan has been excellent in picking his spots. He is now 15 out of 18. Ground ball to the right side. Young will scoop, throw, and get Marlon Byrd. So we'll go to the 6th. Pirates have been tough against the Cubs all year. It's 1-1.
Micah Hoffpower, a perfect day, reached base 5 times, 4 for 4. He also drew a walk in that game. Brett Jackson, his first game at the AA level in Tennessee, 2 for 5 with a solo home run. And some kid named Michael Brendley down in Daytona had a nice night, 3 for 5 with a double. Drove in 3, scored a couple.
What I heard is he had 4 hits, but one was called foul.
You know, part of your minor league preparation is dealing with umpires' bad calls, just like, you know, so when you get here to the big leagues, you're ready for them.
2 balls, no strikes on Garrett Jones. 1-1. We're in the 6th. Brett Jackson working on just a couple of hours of sleep. Made his AA debut and got a home run.
Also a tip of the cap to the Peoria Chiefs catcher Mario Mercedes. Had a perfect night at the plate, 4 for 4. Got to take care of those catchers.
2-1 to Garrett Jones. Pounded on the ground right at Derek Lee. Little underhand to Wells. And kept Jones to a quiet 0 for 3 start. In that game in Cincinnati, Johnny Cueto, 8 innings, 1 run. He's turned the ball over to Bill Bray in the 9th as they lead the Phillies. Scott Rowland with his 17th home run in that game. Bobby's hitting .301, 3 RBIs on the night. And I think we have to go back to the trade Walt Jocketty made last year. We can talk more about it this weekend. We'll see the Reds 4 straight days. But I know I was scratching my head. I think a lot of people around baseball were wondering, why would an also-ran want a highly paid, aging veteran player like Scott Rowland? Well, I think we found out why.
Yeah.
He has been really good.
I mean, the obvious reason was for the leadership that Scott Rowland provides on the field and in the clubhouse, an example for how to be a professional, how to play the game the right way and prepare yourself the right way every day. But boy, has he provided huge benefits this year.
One to Millage. That missed. 2 balls and a strike. Well, especially with what the wind has now started to do. It's become a much different night at the ballpark, and it's more important for Randy Wells to throw strikes. It'd be tougher for a guy to hit the ball out of the ballpark. You don't want to give him freebies. Millage flies out to Soriano. Almost right on cue. He brought the hop back, hopefully temporarily.
The Blackhawks are the 2010 Stanley Cup champions. Text CHAMPS to BHawks. That's 242957 to join Blackhawks Mobile and be entered in to win a Stanley Cup champion street banner autographed by members of the Blackhawks team. That's CHAMPS to 242957.
In the dirt, ball one to Alvarez. Check out some other scores. Diamondbacks and Cardinals 2-2. Chris Carpenter and Dan Herron. Bottom six in St. Louis. They're playing in San Juan, Puerto Rico tonight. And the home team, the Florida Marlins, lead the Mets 10-3 in the top of the ninth. Here on Bithorn Stadium. In San Juan. 5 home runs in that hitter-friendly ballpark. Jason Bay has 2. Coughlin, Ross, and Stanton have gone deep for Florida.
I've never been to that ballpark in Puerto Rico, Len.
It's hitter-friendly in terms of the dimensions. There is, however, a lot of foul territory, and I think they still have artificial turf. Giovanni Soto will head out to the mound. That was a strange deal back in 03 and 04. The Montreal Expos hosted 20 to 22 games in San Juan. Alvarez bounces. Terrio fields, and Randy Wells goes 1-2-3 in the 6th. He really needed it with a high pitch count tonight. Lee Ramirez and Soriano coming up, trying to break this 1-1 deadlock. Underway in the Cubs' 6th. Paul Maholm and Randy Wells have combined to allow just 2 runs. That's a called strike. It's 1-1. Paul Maholm coming off one of the worst outings of his career, a career low 1 inning in Texas. With up 7 hits, 7 runs, 5 were earned. He walked 4. Been a lot better tonight. His former Pirate John Graybo gets loose. Two-two to Derek Lee. It's high. Full count, 3-2 with Ramirez next. You see Mahalam's been a lot more efficient than Randy Wells. He's thrown 109 pitches through 6. Fouled off, still 3-2. Shattered his bat. That's a fair ball, and it'll be an easy out as Garrett Jones steps on first. Tomorrow is clear night at Wrigley Field. Don't miss the action as the Cubs battle these Pirates at 7:05. Be sure to stop by the Clear booth inside Gate D at the stadium from 5 to 7 for an autograph session with Randy Hundley. Get me over curveball, strike 1 on Ramirez, who has singled, scored, and fouled out. Bob, there are 4 former Cub pitchers currently in the Pirates system who are all hurt. Jose Escanio is on the Major League disabled list, recovering from right shoulder surgery. He's on the 60-day DL. You mentioned Kevin Hart has a torn labrum. He had season-ending surgery. He's on the minor league DL. Muscled out into the left. Tabata will get it. 2 outs. Left-hander Donnie Veal had Tommy John surgery earlier this month. He was at AAA. And Neil Kotz, also in the Pirates organization, rehabbing his elbow. He had hip surgery. He's out for the year. How about that?
Odd coincidence.
I would say that's a good way to describe it. All 4 guys formerly in the Cubs organization, now with the Pirates, and all of them are on the shelf. One and 1 to Soriano.
I was watching Fonzie in the on-deck circle taking his warm-up swings. He didn't seem to show any ill effects from that diving attempt in left field.
Ronnie Cedeno got out there in a major hurry and makes the play to end the inning. Cubs go down quietly. They've had a fairly quiet night. So have the Pirates on offense. Cubs post-game live. An NBA star tells us where he thinks LeBron is going, plus locker room reaction from this one. Join Kip and Mark for Sports Night, presented by Dex, tonight after post-game live, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. Bob, how many definitive reports have we heard? LeBron's going to Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
LeBron's going to Miami. We could just make up an NBA team and just tweet it. Probably be just as accurate. We hope the LeBron to Chicago rumor is true. Let's put it that way. I guess we can ask Evan Turner, former Ohio State star. Philadelphia 76er, where he thinks LeBron will end up.
He might have some inside tracks.
Yeah. John Grabo in for Randy Wells. A 2-1 pitch to his former battery mate Ryan Dolman, who bounces right to Aramis Ramirez. 1 out. Watch Comcast Sportsnet Cubs game replays on demand with Xfinity TV from Comcast. Don't miss the action. Call 1-800-XFINITY today. Cedeno bunts. And he gets in, and he's going to head to... No, he's going to stop. Carlos Garcia told him to head to second, but Ronnie had a good look at it. Ryan Theriot was able to retrieve the ball fairly quickly. That'll be a bunt hit for Cedeno. It was a good one.
Yeah, a real good bunt. You get it past the pitcher, force the first baseman to come in and make the play, and only on a very odd, rare occurrence can you feed the second baseman and still get the out over there. They gave it a shot. Theriot had to look down to find the base, and when he does, he takes his eye off the baseball and misses on the barehanded attempt. That's just a good bunt on the part of Ronnie Cedeno.
Now Mahalam still in there, tries to bunt and fouls it back. John Russell sticking with his starter, who's been really good tonight. Randy Wells was good, but the pitch count got him after 6. And we pound on that sometimes, and I think tonight is why. If you're a starter and you want to go 7, 8, maybe even 9 innings, you got to get quicker outs, and that was a problem tonight for Randy. He did strike out 6, but he walked 4. A lot of 3-2 counts. You certainly give some of that credit to the Pirates' offense. That's high, ball 2, 2-1. And Lou Piniella coming out with Mark O'Neill. That's not a good sign. We love Mark, but we don't like to see him head to the mound as John Grabo appears to be hurt. Already a DL stint this year due to a left knee injury, and that's it. He's coming off. Rookie righty Brian Schlitter had just gotten up in the pen, but whoever comes in will have as much time as he needs. And if it is Schlitter, and I believe it is, as he talks to Lester Strode, this will be the Park Ridge residents' major league debut. So we'll get the update on Grabo. We hope he's all right. It's the Lexus Pursuing Perfection call to the pen. Brian Schlitter is on in a 1-1 tie. Illinois. He was born in Oak Park. His hometown is Park Ridge. Randy Wells, Tom Gorzolani, also from Illinois. Bob, we're not quite sure what the John Grabo injury is, but watch his reaction after his final pitch.
It's hard to speculate. We're guessing it's the same knee injury that put him on the disabled list earlier this year. Remember on the Ronnie Cedeno bunt, he was a little tardy getting over to cover first base. But in the meantime, Brian Schlitter will take over here. You get a look at his numbers at AAA Iowa. Got off to a slow start this season. In 6 April outings, his ERA was just under 8, but he really came on since May 1st. 21 ball games, a 2.88 ERA, had 12 saves for the Iowa Cubs.
He was acquired from the Phillies in August of 2008 for left-hander Scott Hare. And he takes his final warm-up tosses. Wednesday is Six Flags Day here at Wrigley Field. Don't miss the action as the Cubs take on the Pirates at 1:20. Come to Six Flags Day for your chance to meet Mr. Six and win free passes to Six Flags Great America and Hurricane Harbor. For more info and to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com.
I would guess this is not the way Brian Schlitter envisioned his first appearance here. It has to be a little disconcerting for anybody when you come out of that bullpen after an injury. You get as many warm-up pitches as you feel necessary before the game will resume once again. But when you're the only guy doing anything out there in front of 40,000 people, I think your natural tendency is to try to hurry a little bit. Hopefully Brian is ready to go here.
We were hoping that he threw a fork ball. We could have called it the Schlitter Splitter. We'll say that.
Watch out
carefully. But he does not throw a split-fingered fastball.
I'll let you say that.
Mostly four-seam fastballs. Occasionally will sink it. Has a slider. A pretty good one and a changeup. To the College of Charleston. Attended Maine South High School before that. Cedeno took off. Mahalam swinging and missing. And Castro again can't handle the throw. That has been a major problem for Starlin Castro. We'll get another look to see if they would have had the out.
You know, I'll tell you, Len, it's getting to the point we talk about stealing a base against a pitcher, stealing a base against a catcher. Teams are going to start stealing bases against the middle infielders for the Chicago Cubs. They've had all kinds of issues taking throws at second base. It looked like Castro was anticipating contact before it even got there and just missed that throw from Giovanni Soto.
Yeah, he would have been out by a mile. And it's now 3-2 on Mahalam. I looked up some of the deeper defensive stats. Fangraphs has the ultimate zone rating 150, and he ranks very well in that department. So even though he's committed a lot of errors as Mahalam strikes out, I think Castro has been an upgrade at shortstop because he's made a lot of plays other shortstops would not. But that particular one has been a problem. So Schlitter strikes out his first major league batter. Gets a little more difficult with Jose Tabata coming up. And if we pause as we say Brian's last name, I think you understand why. We'll make sure we get it right.
Good old number 51.
Ground ball foul. He's big dude, 6'5", 235.
He was a workhorse last year for Double-A Tennessee. Pitched in 59 ball games, leading the league. Had 22 saves in Double-A last year. Solid numbers across the board.
Grew up a Cubs fan. And Tabata held up 95 on that four-seamer. Swing and a miss. Nicely done, Brian Schlitter. Time for the stretch.
NBA draft, Evan Turner.
Back here in the bottom of the seventh, a called strike from Palma Holland to Giovanni Soto. 1-1 is our score, and great to have with us Evan Turner, Chicago native, former Ohio State star, and now Philadelphia 76er, the number 2 overall pick. Evan, welcome to Wrigley Field. You were telling us during the break it's your second time here.
Yes,
beautiful night.
Yeah, it's a great night. I'm enjoying myself. This is a great night for baseball.
Inside on Soto, 2-1. Well, we got a big Buckeye fan standing right next to you.
Yes, sir. The Ohio State Buckeyes.
Already bowed down to him when he came in the booth.
Same.
So what was Thursday like for you? How nervous were you? Were you calm and collected, or you have some butterflies?
It's a little bit of both. I was really anxious. That morning they had, our whole schedule loaded up, so we were doing stuff all morning. So I had like 2 hours, get prepared and get ready, put my suit on. When I put my suit on, it started hitting me a little bit. we routed Madison Square Garden. I was sitting down like a little nervous. I was like, let's just hurry up and start this thing. Let 7:30 come, and a dream becomes a reality.
Did you have any idea going in what was going to happen? Did you know who was going to take you?
Yeah, I had a pretty good idea. I only worked out for Philadelphia 76ers, and they were pretty impressed by me, and I really liked them, so I was hoping they selected me.
Cedeno throws out Soto. That'll bring up Starlin Castro as we check on Evan Turner's first pitch. And you learned a curveball?
Yeah, I learned a curveball like 20 minutes before this.
Who taught you the curveball?
This 12-year-old kid.
Pretty nice.
Yeah, that was a nice pitch.
And Brian Schlitter just made his major league debut with 2 strikeouts, so maybe you can take some of the credit.
I guess. I can't throw. Yeah, I was, just
It's a fair ball for Castro. Will make the turn on his way to second. Little bobble by Millage. It'll be a double for Castro. We will get a pinch hitter. It'll be Jeff Baker in the pitcher spot. with the go-ahead run in scoring position.
Boy, Len, and that's something that young Starlin Castro needs to do more of. Take that pitch on the outside corner of the plate and drive it to the opposite field. This one just inside the first baseline. A little bobble by Millage there, allowing Castro to slide into second base with a double.
Pitching coach Joe Carrigan out to the mound as they'll discuss some strategy here. Well, Evan, we hear so much about the differences between college ball and the pro game. What have your mentors and your advisors and your coaches at the college level, what have they told you about this next level?
Well, they're just saying definitely the players are a lot more talented. You know, there aren't any weak players in the league. And also everybody's a little bit quicker, a little bit stronger, and a little bit, longer. So, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to how hard you work and the mentality you take into it. At this level, everybody's good, but it's the mental toughness that sets you apart. So as long as I, do what I need to do and stay mentally tough and enjoy the journey and be competitive like I normally am, I think I'll be fine.
That's a good Chicago upbringing.
I guess
that's what it is.
If you can play in Chicago, you can play anywhere.
Jeff Baker fouls it off.
Speaking of playing in Chicago, we were speculating a little bit earlier, as is every basketball fan around the country. Where's LeBron going?
Man, I'm not too sure. That's up in the air, but a couple people are saying it, from Chicago, saying he's coming to Chicago. Some say New York, and then people in Ohio are just begging for him to stay in Cleveland. So it's really a win-win situation. But I think he might stay in Cleveland.
Well, it's win-win for LeBron. We know
that.
Yeah,
definitely. But for New York and Chicago, you can't miss what you never had.
There you go.
2 strikes on Jeff Baker. You actually finished third to Derrick Rose in the Illinois Mr. Basketball in 2007. You get to face Derrick in the NBA.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. That should be fun. He's a great player, and he's done a lot of great things for the city of Chicago. And, just come back and, compete in my hometown be extremely fun.
And that's a base hit. Castro's going to have to hold up as Tabata was playing pretty shallow, and that ball was really crunched by Jeff Baker, but they have him at the corners with only 1 out.
A nice piece of hitting with 2 strikes by Jeff Baker, finding that hole on the left side of the infield. That ball was hit so hard, Castro had to freeze initially at second base. That got to Tabata in left field in a hurry, and Tabata has a real good throwing arm out there in left. Tell you what, Len, I feel a squeeze bump coming on.
That'd be a bad time for it.
We haven't seen Lou use it very often this year. The Cubs haven't been in a position to use it too often, but I don't know. There's something about this situation.
Cedeno chatting with Mahalam. Pirates have some action in their pen, but Mahalam gets Terrio. Tries to untie this game. Oh, that could be 2. 6, 4, 3 to end the inning. So we'll go off to the 8th, still 1-1. Evan Turner, best of luck in your NBA career. You've represented Chicago extremely well. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Authentic classics for the whole family. Get your gear from the official source, the Cubs.com shop. Accept no substitutes.
Golden opportunity by the boards as Paul Mahalam got Ryan Theriot to bounce into an inning-ending 6-4-3 double play. So it'll be Andrew Kashner, who's given up runs in each of his last 2 outings, in which he went 2 innings. Charged with a blown save at Seattle on Thursday, and then took the loss as Paul Konerko hit the home run on Saturday against the White Sox. 2 quick strikes on Delwyn Young. We have an update on John Grabo. He left with a left knee strain. So the good news is it was not arm related. The bad news is it's an aggravation of a previous injury, which makes you wonder if he might be out a while. A 1-2 from Kashner. Late swing by Young. Now 97 on that fastball. My guess, Bob, is that fastball is pretty similar to the heaters he was throwing against the White Sox, but we heard they had a fast gun, which might have added 2 or 3 miles an hour. You hate to say he wasn't throwing 100, but he probably wasn't. There's a base hit as Young starts the inning with a single. But what it does tell you is that a guy like Paul Konerko and a lot of major league hitters can turn around a fastball in the upper 90s.
Or triple digits on occasion. We've seen it happen many times. I remember the first time I saw it. Vinny Castilla, playing for the Colorado Rockies at the time, hit a Billy Wagner 100-mile-an-hour fastball that was letter high and turned it around, and it got out in a hurry. Big league hitters can time velocity. They can quicken their swings if necessary if a guy is throwing that hard.
Pitch to McCutchen. He pops it into right. And Colvin drifting in and over toward the line makes the grab. 1 out.
You definitely have to keep your feet moving on those balls hit in the air here tonight. They're always going to get pushed a little more than you anticipate by that wind, especially the high pop-ups that get up above the roof of the stadium. They really get pushed around.
Jones 0 for 3. Robbed of a go-ahead RBI hit by Marlon Byrd in the 3rd inning. Few finals. Atlanta shut out Washington, sending Steven Strasburg to defeat. 5-0 the final in Atlanta. Cincinnati beat the Phillies 7-3. Florida over the Mets in Puerto Rico 10-3. R.A. Dickey suffered his first loss of the year. AL, it was Cleveland over Toronto 2-1. That's a final. Everything else that's going on tonight is still not yet complete. Milwaukee playing good baseball. The Brewers lead Houston 5-2 in the 6th at Miller Park. Too high, and it's 2-2. 98 that time on the fastball from Kashner.
You mentioned the potentially hot gun over U.S. Cellular Field over the weekend. The fans may say, why would you even do that? Well, if you've ever been to the ballpark when somebody's hit triple digits on the radar gun at the stadium, you get the oohs and the ahs. And you get people watching that radar gun to see if the guy can hit 100 miles an hour again. It becomes quite an attraction at the ballpark itself when they have that pitch speed up on the scoreboard somewhere. It's entertainment for the fans.
I would agree, and I don't know if it really helps a pitcher to know that he's throwing 100. There goes Young, ball 4. Two on for Millage. And this is Millage's first at bat tonight with runners in scoring position. I mention that because he's hitting .392 in this spot.
He's been crazy good this year with runners in scoring position in less than 2 outs. A .355 hitter, runners in scoring position, 2 outs, .450 for a grand total of .392.
Kind of weird. A corner outfielder had gone all the way until yesterday before he hit his first homer of the season. That was in Oakland. Right down Main Street, 1-1. Not hit hard. They're not going to turn 2. The play goes to first. Barely in time to get Millage. Castro had just enough on it to get the out.
Well, we've seen Castro make a number of similar plays. It looked like that time he just didn't have a good grip on the baseball. He can do that scoop and throw in one motion as good as any shortstop I've seen. That time he threw a changeup across the diamond to Derek Lee just in time to get Millage.
We have a couple of top prospects who are battling in the majors. Andrew Kashner and Pedro Alvarez. Alvarez went to Vanderbilt. Second overall pick in 08 from New York City. And he swings and misses to make it 0-2. $38,512, and they'd like to see Kashner strike out Alvarez. Kashner just wants to get it out. Get out of this inning. The base hit not only unties it, but almost assuredly would give the Pirates a 2-run lead. Swing and a miss. Got him on the high fastball to end the inning. They leave 2 in scoring position. And we'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Pirates 1, Cubs 1. Tyler Colvin leading off the 8th. Paul Mahalam still working. With 1 out in this inning, it'll be Mahalam's longest start of the season. He's gone 7 innings a few times. 0-2 to Colvin. Outside, fastball at 90. Ready for this, Bob? You go back to May 31st against the Cubs, so almost a month. Since then, the Pirates starting staff, they've only had one guy go 7 innings. That was Jeff Karstens. So Paul Mahalam going 7 and working into the 8th tonight. This has been by far one of the best starts over this stretch. They've lost a lot of games. Colvin strikes out. And his second strikeout of the night.
Let's take a look at our Home Depot doing more on defense. Gary Jones with a line drive into center. How many times have we seen that play this year? Marlon Byrd coming straight in to take away a base hit. He's as good as they get at that play.
Mahalam tonight with 2 strikeouts and no walks. And that's why he's still in the game. He has not even hit 100 pitches yet. Marlon Byrd, high drive deep to left, and it's going to stay in. The wind acted like a wall out and left. I think with a no-wind night, that's a home run.
I don't think there's any question about it. I think even with the wind that we started this ball game with, that ball would get up in the bleachers in left field. He absolutely crushed that. Ball was down and in. He just dropped the barrel of the bat on it. I talked about Derek Lee being quick inside. Marlon Byrd right out of the same mold. Got up into that jet stream and just died short of the warning track in left.
You were a bullpen coach, right? San Francisco. Is that the kind of ball that would be hit where you tell all your relievers, you see that?
See that? Yeah, when push comes to shove, if there's any doubt in your mind what to throw something up and over the plate, let them see how far they can hit it. The ball is just not carrying right now with that wind howling in from center.
Carlos Marmol ready to work in the 9th.
I mean, this is the kind of night you talk about pitching to contact up in the zone. Usually we talk about pitching to contact with sinker ballers, keeping the ball down. Here's another one.
The ball struck well, but both fly ball outs. Off to the 9th. Still tied at 1. Domit against the righty Kashner. A change up and now a slider. And a fastball.
That's pretty much everything he has right there.
Soto wants his fastball up. Lined and a base hit. That's a good ball to hit on a night like this. With the wind blowing, you keep it low. You hit a top spinner and the ball dies in front of the outfielders.
And they wanted that fastball up a little bit higher. They got Domit to chase one back in the 4th inning. Up about shoulder level. That time was not quite up there enough.
A bunting spot for Cedeno. Actually bunted for a hit his last time up. He squares, bunts it hard toward Lee, and Derek, I think, made the right choice. Might have had an out at second, but even if it's 60-40, I think you take the sure out.
A lot of different factors, Len. Late in the evening here, there may be a little bit of moisture on the baseball. Maybe Derek didn't have a good grip. He took a look at second base, decided the better option was to take the sure out at first base. And you're right. If there's any doubt in your mind, don't attempt a dangerous throw. The ball ends up out in left center field. Domit advances on to third base, and then you've got a world of trouble.
Ryan Church will hit for Mahalam. Bob, that's about as good as I think we've seen Paul Mahalam against the Cubs. And again, he has a very good record against the Cubs. He's already won twice, but that was his best start we've seen this year.
Yeah, he was really good. His command was good. For the most part, he kept the ball out of the middle of the plate, changed speeds just enough to keep the Cubs hitters off balance. Now, I have to be honest with you. In the past, when we used to play the Pirates and Paul Mahalam and Zach Duke and even Tom Gorzolani, I used to get those three guys confused. The only way I could tell them apart was Duke threw a little bit harder and threw more cutters. Mahalam and Gorzolani were almost interchangeable for me. Very similar stuff, very similar build, very similar delivery on the mound, and Mahalam very good tonight.
Two and 0 Church. Missed again, 3-0. Church has 2 home runs this season. They've both been against the Cubs in Pittsburgh in early May. Kashner walks Church, and Lou Piniella is heading out, and he's going to make a double switch and bring in his closer. Let's see, Lexus pursuing perfection, call to the pen. Kosuke Fukudome is going to come in. Marlin Kosuke playing right. Colvin moving from right to center. Carlos Marmol had a tough day with his command yesterday as he walked 3 against the White Sox. Trying to preserve a 1-1 tie and give the Cubs a chance to win it in the bottom of the ninth. Jose Tabata, 1 ball, no strikes, 2 on, 1 out. Swing and a miss. This time Tabata has faced Marmol. Ryan Doumit is at second. Ryan Church at first. Double play in order. And a high deep drive. Tyler Coleman's not going to get there. Doumit is going to round third. Terrio's throw to the plate. Might be a play there. Safe. He got in standing. Boy, they made it close. Tabata absolutely crushed it. But because of this wind, Ryan Doumit wasn't quite sure. It's now 2-1 Pirates.
Pitch is actually on the inside part of the plate. Tabata with an inside out swing really barreled that ball up well. One hopping the wall in right field. Good relay from Ryan Theriot right on the money to home plate. Doumit chose to go in standing up that time. He saw an opening. You'll see Soto comes just a little bit to the first base side of home right there to take the throw, leaving it open for Doumit to get on the plate without a slide.
Boy, good block by Soto. Second and third now, infield in. And for the time being, he saved a run. 1-1 on Delwyn Young. Game looks a lot easier up here, but it was very apparent that Colvin was not going to catch that ball. But again, the base runners weren't sure, so they had to wait. And that's what made it a close play at home plate.
Especially some of the drives we've seen get knocked down by this wind. There's no way the runners could be more aggressive than they were on that particular play. They had to see it down.
The kick and the 1-2. Young just got a piece of the ball. So we will see Octavio Dotel in the bottom of the ninth. He already has 5 saves against the Cubs. Cued off the end of the bat, and Castro will throw to first. Runners holding.
Delwyn Young way out in front of that pitch, hit it right off the very tip of the bat. A little dribbler past Marmol, but fortunately the Cubs playing their infield in. Castro right there to make the play.
I think if Church had broken immediately, he had a good shot to score, but once he hesitated, it was too late. One 1-0 on McCutchen. A key guy here for Marmol. The Cubs are down 1, but they don't want to be trailing by 3. I don't know about you, Bob. I feel a little bit better that it's Dotel and not Mahalam, who only has thrown 101 pitches but had to get taken out for a pinch hitter. He had complete game stuff tonight. Line foul by inches.
Fourth slider in a row from Marmol to McCutchen. Came very close to putting a couple more runs on the board there. That ball just hooked foul down the third base line.
strike 3 on a fastball to get out of the inning. But rookie Jose Tabata, with a go-ahead RBI double, will go to the bottom of the ninth, 1 to tie, 2 to win for the Cubs against Dotel. Submit your questions on CSNChicago.com. You could get an answer live on air. Don't miss Sylvania Cubs postgame live immediately following the game right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. Well, the trio of Evan Meek, Joel Hanrahan, and Octavio Dotel have been very good against the Cubs this season. You see the bullpen, Hanrahan and Dotel at the very end. And as a staff out there in the bullpen, a 2 ERA against the Cubs so far this year in the first 9 games. 1-0 on Ramirez. Kick and the pitch. 2-0.
You know, under normal conditions, you would be thinking about a possible home run to tie the ball game up, but the way that wind is howling in tonight, you get the feeling it's going to take a series of base hits to score a run here in the bottom of the ninth.
And some walks wouldn't hurt. Dotel does walk people. That was not center cut, but it was on the plate, according to Dan Iasonia.
Domet sitting outside. The pitch strays back inside. Ooh. I don't know.
3-1 to Ramirez. Quite honestly, we've seen this from Dotel a few times, and he's been able to work around getting behind Cub hitters. Three and 2. And a lot of close ones this season. Bounding ball foul. The first 9 games, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them have been decided by 1 or 2 runs. The Cubs have only won 1 of those games. And he gets hit on a 3-2. The tying run is on a pitch that really got away from Dotel. Ed Halber's going to jog down to first with Aramis. Where did it get him?
Dotel really tried to overthrow that pitch. Look at that, got him on the back of the left triceps, maybe the upper back area. That's why you always turn away from those inside pitches. It's going to hurt. It's going to leave a bruise. With no serious damage that time. Well, we might see Mike Fontenot come on to run for Ramirez at first base. He's one of the slower Cubs base runners and represents the tying run in this game.
Here's Soriano, 0 for 3. And he takes one in the dirt, ball 1. A little extra pressure on the Pirates. They've lost 17 in a row on the road. But they lead here in the 9th, 2-1. They lost their last 6 straight. And Soriano pops it foul right side. They got swept in Texas and then in Oakland.
You may be new, but you've got it figured out.
It's a strike on a breaking ball, 1-2.
Boy, Dotel's gotten a couple strikes in this inning where he's missed his spot from one side of the plate to the other. Doman once again sets up outside. That's a slider that never really took too much of a break. Soriano certainly thought it was off the inside corner.
And he struck him out. Sweeping slider. Got ahead in the count. And Soriano went fishing. 1 out.
Yeah, that slider had a lot more break. Started on the outer third of the plate. Ended up out of the strike zone away.
The pitch to Giovanni Soto. Missed outside. That's the pitch Bobby's been getting for strikes.
And once again, Doman sets up on the outside corner. The pitch goes back toward the inside corner.
Well, if you're Dotel, you might as well keep pounding that part of the plate, especially with the wind blowing in. He's getting those calls. Look at lollipop over to first. Look at half a throw. He just lobbed it over there. Almost balked. Dotel, 36 years old, from Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. Swing and a miss. 2-2. Made his major league debut with the Mets in 1999. And he's given up some runs here at Wrigley Field. Swing and a miss. 2 down.
After the hit by pitch, the second straight strikeout for Dotel, both coming on pitches out of the strike zone. Soriano on a slider outside. This time Soto with an up the ladder fastball.
Xavier Nady is going to hit for Starlin Castro, representing the last chance for the Cubs. And one reminder, as we celebrate the 50th anniversary of Ron Santo's major league debut, Cubs are offering a limited allotment of $10 bleacher seats this homestand You can purchase tickets by entering the promo code SANTO when purchasing bleacher tickets on Cubs.com. So hope you can come on out. As the Cubs have 2 more against the Pirates and 4 versus the first place Reds. Ball 1.
Well, that's a big block of a breaking ball in the dirt by Ryan Doman right there. I don't believe Aramis Ramirez can score from first base on an extra base hit. But he can probably score from second base on a base hit.
And this is one of those spots, Bob, where I think Lou would love to have, and it's a luxury, but the designated pinch runner, so to speak, on the bench. The guy who could just come in and at least give the threat of getting into scoring position. And this is a kind of night, as we've talked all night, where you want to be in scoring position with the wind blowing in. One and 2. Well, I agree with you. It kind of feels like it's going to take a couple of hits to get it done. And as Nady just tries to stay alive. I think last year that guy would have been Sam Fuld. He probably would be in the game, but no spot on the roster. As the Cubs have 5 outfielders ahead of Sam, who's currently at AAA with Iowa.
Well, you put it exactly right. It's a luxury to carry that guy on your roster that is basically used just as a pinch runner late in close games.
Kick, the 2-2, swing and a miss. Dotel saves another against the Cubs, and the Pirates' 17-game road losing streak is over. Cubs did not put a ball in play in the 9th inning. Hard to explain, Bob, and it's been a rough year for the Cubs, we know that, but a team that is 24 games under 500 has gone 8-2 against the Cubs.
The Cubs just need to hit more against everybody, but specifically against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Everybody else seems to have their way with this Pirates pitching staff, and for whatever reason, the Cubs really struggle to string together hits and put together any kind of an offensive rally.
So Mahalam will get the win over Cashner and Dotel with 6 saves this season against the Cubs. Our GMC player of the game, we're going to give it to Park Ridge's Brian Schlitter, who came in, did a nice job, couple of big strikeouts in the 7th.
Yeah, under very tough circumstances. The injury to John Graybo forced Schlitter into the game. He had to take a lot of time to warm up, but he made sure he was ready to go, and indeed he was. He faced 2 batters and struck them both out. Congratulations to Brian Schlitter.
Well, unfortunately, Ron Santo's special night marred a little bit by the final score tonight, but again, we hope you can come out and celebrate with Ron as we celebrate his 50 years with the Cubs. That'll do it for our game coverage. Stay tuned for Sylvania post-game live. Once again, the final score tonight, the Pirates 2, the Cubs 1. We'll be back on Comcast Sportsnet Thursday, 12:30 for pregame live. Bob and I will hit the air at 1. Reds and Cubs, game 1 of a 4-game series.